Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another manga review. And today we're going to dive back into Battle Angel Alita, created, written, and drawn by Yukito Kishiro. And this has quickly become one of my favorite series of any medium, whether it be a comic, a book, TV show, whatever. I'm totally drawn into the series. It's been terrific. And hope you guys, if you're just tuning into this video, to go back and check out the previous volumes. But otherwise, we're going to get into heavy spoilers here. So really what I've found is through all the deluxe editions here, there's 2-in-1s. This is Deluxe Edition Volume 3. And last week we reviewed Volume 5, Lost Sheep. And in this video we're going to review Volume 6, Rainmaker. But what I've found is throughout each of the deluxe editions, there's some form of tragic event in which in the first deluxe edition you saw Yugo died, okay? And then in the next deluxe edition you saw Jasugun die. And then in the first part of this deluxe edition, you saw Dr. Ido die, or so we think at the moment. And there's always a sort of tragic loss in how Alita has to overcome that loss. And it's really done quite well. The art's terrific. You'll see in this, the art gets better and better as the series goes along. And it's just absolutely terrific. So, and you also got the appearance of Desty Nova, who's like the big bad, who they've talked about in all the previous volumes, but you got your first appearance of him in Volume 5. So we're in Volume 6, Rainmaker now, Battle Angel Alita. And I think there's less chapters, but you see like the page numbers, it's different. There's like, you got 30 pages, then you got 50 pages, then you got another 50, then you got another 50, and then 30 or so. So it's interesting how they do that. So it ended with Zapan being brought back from the dead. He was in the first volume, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And he had been defeated by Alita and lost his face, and he was brought back from the dead by Desty Nova and wreaking havoc all over the Scrapyard. And she had defeated him, but, she's a shell of her former self. Let's just go back a little bit. You see where it ended. She essentially had nothing left. She was just a torso with one arm. So she's here just lying on the ground, and she had committed a crime by using a gun. So she has to pay for her sins and essentially die. So she's going into the scrapyard here to get ground up. And she wakes up in sort of like a purgatory-like place here. And she realizes she has her body back, right? And this guy's her speaking to her, who is from Zalem. And you can tell because he has the dot on his head, which is Dr. Ido has it, Desty Nova has it, and if you know, they're both from Zalem. And this is her body right here. And this guy's basically saying that these are her thoughts. And he's speaking to her, and if he works for her, he can give her a new life. And he mentions how he's been observing her. You see with her Motorball outfit and all her different battles, they've been monitoring her the whole time. And they want to use her basically as a way to catch Desty Nova, because he has been foiling their plans, and they want to get Alita to help bring Desty Nova to justice, and also bring back her Dr. Ido, her father figure, which she still believes is possible. So she wakes up and exits the door. And, these pages are kind of stuck. And so begins her new journey here. So this other subplot that they have going on is that this is the scrapyard, right? And this is Zalem, like where all the rich people and all the rulers live. And the scrapyard produces everything for them, whether it be food, water, whatever. Oh, and this is pretty cool. So then you got the appearance from Vector again. And Vector, he had last been seen in Volume 2. And he was the one who promised Yugo to get up to Zalem. But, he obviously didn't have a way up. And Yugo turned into a cyborg and then died after that. But Vector is sort of like a crime lord who is overseeing stuff going on. That's really the only appearance you see from him. And then you have this guy recruiting people for mercenaries to guard the rails, because they're transporting all of the products up to Zalem, and it constantly gets raided by pirates and stuff. So you get this new character who's a human. Now there's a lot of cyborgs and whatnot, and there's very few humans, and this guy is a human. His name is Figure 4, and he kind of reminds me of that character from Street Fighter, just the way he looks, with the bandana and the one long hair there, and he's like a samurai, and he's really powerful. You saw he was able to defeat the cyborg real quick, and he earns a shot to work for the mercenaries here. And he meets this other goofy guy who's another human. His name is Yorg, And he's like a nervous, goofy guy, and all he's trying to do is provide for his family. He has a picture here of his wife and his kid, and he's trying to earn some credits to support his family. So they're on their way on this, train here, transporting all the goods, and they got to guard all the goods on the way to Zalem. And then Alita's up there. He hears the harmonica, and she's up there, recruited by the director. They didn't really give his name quite yet. We'll get his name later. I'll just tell you, his name is Bigott Eisenberg, and he's the director. So Alita's here and basically goofing around with Figure 4. And then this is pretty cool. Like, every single volume has had its own little theme, sort of. Like, the first volume, you just had the origin story. The second volume was sort of like the tournament arc, as I called it, with Motorball. And this, you're getting like a Mad Max type thing going on. And they're ambushed by, like, these vehicles look like they're straight out of Mad Max. And they're the scavengers trying to raid the train, and steal all the goods. And they're having this great battle to kill every last one of them. Yeah! And Figure 4's got all his gear ready to go. And Yorg's just like, all he does, this guy Yorg, he's just screaming the entire time. And you'd think he'd die first, right? He's sort of like the comic relief character, but he keeps like getting shot at and just complaining. And it's so funny. So another side note is the fact that they all have detonators attached to them. And if they stray too far from the rail, they explode, because they don't want the mercenaries to run away. Because, like you learn from Alita, it's illegal to use the gun and whatnot. So you meet this cyborg. His name is Knucklehead, and he shows up. And just look at this. Alita's got the gun now. It's just crazy, because in the beginning it was sort of like a kung fu martial arts thing, and then you had the motorball thing, and now you have like guns and shooting each other. It's just crazy, man. I think it's awesome. So Alita saves the day, saves Yorg, and saves Figure 4 there, and just look at all the carnage there. I don't believe it. Oh, that woman did all this. And Alita is sort of stoic and doesn't really know what's going on. And this is the pilot of the conductor, I guess. And the train's gonna blow up. There's all this fuel leaking, but they can't leave because they have the detonators on. And Alita helps them anyway. Takes the detonators off, and it's just Yorg and Figure 4 on their way, on their journey. And then they're sitting around by the campfire here. And this is the director, the GIB director, Bigott Eisenberg, and he's in control here. This is Zalem's Ground Inspection Bureau, and this is they're tracking Nova for years, and he's a defector and carrying out all these experiments and just crazy stuff like that. And I've noticed, like, in the first few volumes, they really drew Alita as sort of like a childlike appearance, but here she starts to look more mature. They make her a little bustier. And, you'll see as it goes along. But Eisenberg here is just listening to her saying, no, you can't deal with this fool, just shoot him. But she sort of has compassion, especially to the organic people, especially because of her relationship with Yugo and her relationship with Dr. Ida. So he's actually putting up a decent fight, but Alita's obviously blocking everything and sort of humoring him. And he keeps getting upset because she's making like these kissy face lips at him, and he stopped doing that. He gets all mad. And they have a battle. She defeats him, and Yorg's just like, oh my god, she beat you. Oh, he just, like I said, he just complains the whole time. So, and now she's leaving him, and there's this freaking tornado that shows up. And she's like, I can't leave them in the tornado. So she invites them into the Jeep or Warthog, whatever that is. And, Eisenberg's just pissed off. And because of the tornado, her communication system has gone blank, and he can't talk to her anymore, so he's all pissed off, wondering what the hell happened. And then, through all the carnage and the tornado, Figure 4 tied her up and is like, that's what you get for embarrassing me in front of Yorg. That's what you get, woman. So, they're just having some playful banter, and they see all these other buildings exploding in the distance, and it's the scavengers on their way. Knucklehead has gone back to home base and has get the cavalry on the way. And this is what I said, like, they're drawing Alita more sexy as opposed to the more juvenile approach in the previous volumes. But, she's all tied up, and they see the explosions, and they're like, we have no choice, we got to free Alita. She's obviously the only one who can defeat these guys. And they're showing up. This is the leader, and this is pretty cool. Alita shoots him, and he puts his hand up. He has two heads, a head up there, and that's like his main organic head. That's like the cyborg scary looking head, and goes right through his hand and blasts off his head that doesn't really mean anything. And they're talking about, oh, it's not this kind of bullet, the HV rounds, it's the HSA rounds. And they have all these guys. Like, it's just strange. Some of this stuff is pretty strange, but they put these, organics in there and shoot them up with all this, I guess, steroid or whatever, and get them all berserked and ready to go. And Knucklehead's like, I want my revenge, sir. Okay, so we're going to send Knucklehead with a battalion. And like I said, look at Yorg here. No, I want to go back home. He just cries the whole time, man. And Alita's like, no, sissies, we got to fight. So Alita's just shooting them all. And, just great action. And terrific. I highly recommend this series. It's so much fun. Like, it's a quick read, too. You think that, this whole deluxe edition is 400 pages. But each volume you could read in about an hour, because really with manga, there's not a whole lot of dialogue. It's mostly action, and the dialogue is very meaningful, but again, you just get, hiya, what? And the sound effects, and all that going on. So the Colonel shows up, and Knucklehead's like, oh, I didn't call for backup, and he's like, oh, you were a decoy, Knucklehead. And, just some good stuff here. So, another thing that happened was Yorg, they had sent Yorg on his way because he's just a weakling. And it turns out that he knew the Colonel in the past because Yorg was like former military or something, and the Colonel was former military, and he made a deal and sort of betrayed his friends there. But he's like, I'm too weak. That's the only way I could be free is if I betrayed you. So Yorg was a total asshole. But what choice did he had? Because he was sort of a sissy. Just look at him still. He's crying, Yorg. Like the faces this dude makes is just like, oh my god. Like I can just picture this guy's voice too, just how I'm doing it. So, and then with all the shooting and whatnot, Alita thinks that Figure 4 had been killed. And like I said, with all the tragedy going on in this book, I mean, Dr. Ido dies, Jasugun dies, Yugo dies, Figure 4 dies. It's just crazy. But he doesn't really. So you see he wakes up from the ashes, back to life. So he's like a superhuman, almost like a Super Saiyan, and he's drinking his booze there, getting all ready to go. You got the Mad Max caravan going. They captured Alita. And yeah. So then Knucklehead is back, and he's pissed off because of the fact that the Colonel used him as a decoy. So he shoots the Colonel and kills him, and actually lets Alita go. And he had sabotaged all their equipment, making all these guys, the berserkers, all vomiting and not able to function, and had messed with their rifles, so they jam and fire back at him. So Knucklehead had sabotaged everything, blown up the whole caravan. And he takes Alita out, and Alita's like, oh, that's so nice of you to free me. But really, he wants to have one last standoff and defeat Alita because, he's just pissed off from getting embarrassed from before, I guess. Oh, and Alita still, she has her Damascus blade from the Motorball arc. She still has that. And then Figure 4 shows up and, to save his friend Alita. So, it's a happy ending. I was actually surprised because I saw Figure 4 died, or so we thought. And it's just going with the trend how all these new characters keep dying and stuff. And then turns out that Yorg was also a, they turned him into one of those berserkers. Like, see how his head was like those berserker guys? And he's out there just shooting. And Figure 4's upset because Yorg's dead. And he has a dying wish here. He says, forgive me, Alita, forgive me. I'm no good, too weak. And now I don't even have the right to see my wife again. Just, and he did a sort of sad moment here, and Yorg passed away. He was sort of the comic relief character that betrayed them, but in the end, all he wanted to do was see his family, and that was the best way he knew how, is by doing that. So they were in the middle of nowhere, and this is where it gets the vibe from Mad Max. Like, if you remember from that movie Mad Max Fury Road, the sort of remake from, I think, 2015 with Tom Hardy. They were sort of in the desert, and they had those same sort of vehicles. There was a tornado in the beginning when Charlize Theron's character was running away with her big rig. And to boost morale, they got the harmonica out, and he says he's praying for rain because of the they're in the desert, and he's got the harmonica, and you sort of get the thing. The title of the volume is Rainmaker, and his prayers come to life just as they collapse, and they're getting ready to embrace here, have a little romantic moment. And just as they collapse, it starts raining. It starts raining fish, and it cuts over to Eisenberg here with another Zalemite scientist, and they're talking about, did you manipulate the weather? And he says, no, I did nothing. And maybe it was their prayers that were answered. So, Rainmaker, end. So, terrific. Absolutely terrific here. This whole, I'm not really going to get into this because we're over 15 minutes, but if you want to pause the video, you can check this out. This is pretty interesting. This is what I explained at the beginning, how the Scrapyard provides from to Zalem, based on the fact that they have the factories and they have the big rig trains moving everything, and just sort of interesting stuff right there. And you get this little note. This was a comic by Kishiro. This was done in 1993, so this is like almost 30 years old, this manga. So here's some other cool stuff. This is the sequel series. Like I said, there's 9 volumes in this Battle Angel Alita, and then there's a Battle Angel Alita Last Order, which is a sequel series after this is done. But yeah, this is awesome. I love it. I mean, artwork's good. I like this new character, Figure 4. I hope he stays around. We'll see where that goes. Artwork's great. Great action. Absolutely terrific. I highly recommend this. They're pretty cheap to get. I bought these on Amazon. They retail for close to $30. You can actually buy the deluxe edition box set. There's 5 volumes. And I think it's like $100, or you can get them, they're like $20 if you look around. That's what I've been paying for them. But I'm waiting to get volume 4 in the mail. As soon as I do, I'll read it and do a review for it next week. I'm hoping for it next week because I've been doing the manga reviews on Saturdays. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Stay tuned for volume 7 of Battle Angel Alita next week. And also stay tuned for new comic book reviews, American comic book reviews, ranting and raving videos, and whatever else I got on the channel coming soon. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.